Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Build live from Oak Hill Works. How are we all doing? I hope you are well. Welcome. I've got one more We Are Live link to post and then we'll be starting properly. Darn internet messing this up. Yes, there we go. We are live. Let's look at the chat. Gosh, we on two B1s, James. And one is very small, yes. Isn't it nice? Oh, I am that level of insane. Aren't you glad to hear it? Oh, right, yeah, that blooming remote for the TV's not working either, is it? Oh, fun times. It's all going so well. Good old South Sea. Indeed, Alex, good old South Sea. Right, so who do we have? Hello, Christopher. Hello, J94. Hello, Linny. Hello, James. Hello, Toyman. Hello, Alex. Hello, Javier. Welcome to the madhouse where it's all going wrong. In fact, I've just remembered where I haven't posted this. And that is, of course, to Discord. And there we go. That one. I'm back. I can see chat again. Maybe in and out, the physics is killing me again. Oh, fun. But yes, let's bring it forward. Yes, there be paint on it. And it is indeed a B1 in N-Gauge. It is a mini Gladstone. Scratch built from plasticard. The paint is still wet in places, so that's why it's on the plinth so that I don't touch it. Good evening, Heritage Railway Productions. How are you? I hope you are well. I thought you would approve of N-Gauge, James. It has been an interesting build, and it has definitely reinforced my theory that N-Gauge is just way too small and no one should work in it. It's also led to some slightly unconventional modelling. Because you see, I did not have anything to make this dome with. And I spent about 2 days wondering how I could make this dome. I ended up poking a screwdriver into some blue tack and filling that blue tack hole that was made, genuinely actually measured to be the right size, with super glue and then filing it to its final shape when it came out. So that dome is made entirely of super glue. Cast in super glue using blue tack as a mould. Definitely photo shoot with D51-200. You know, Christopher, I have a D51 as well in N. Only 6 minutes late, yeah. Legitimate, there was no pre-stream chat on this one. Unconventional modelling is the best kind of modelling. It is good, isn't it? Engage too small is not too small. I am fixing short circuits with a pair of pliers and Engage class 50 as we speak. Sounds fiddly. Agree with Killian. Please don't. I am intrigued. Unconventional modelling materials out. Indeed, that's very clever. Well done. Thank you, Killian. That looks great. Thank you, Toyman. Very, very well. Thank you. Hope you are too. I am. Thank you, Heritage Railway Productions. So yes, in here at the minute, you should be able to see some circles on the top there, because the buffers for that are currently casting out of super glue as well. In fact, they've been in there all day, so. It's still a bit blue tacky. But there is a buffer head made out of super glue. Put that back in there so I don't lose it in the meantime. But it works as a method. Not something I expected to actually work, but I was running low on ideas and I wanted to try something. Do indeed, I think some other logos that it needs to net as well, maybe in the snow. Oh, in the snow would look very nice. See, it's something I discovered whilst building this, is that my pinboard at the back here, the shelf edge that runs along the top of it, is just the right width to fit some Engage on. Not that I would ever dream of such things. I also got bored with spare parts and made a Railway Jolly Roger, because we are the train pirates. And all that. Because why not? Got to do something with the spare parts. So yes, brake van. That's what we're here for. It's the right scale for starters. And you will all remember that last week we didn't rush to find the last bit of bracing. But we don't lose things on this live stream, so sat at the bottom here is that last bit of bracing. Train pirates are the best sort of pirates. They are, aren't they? Imagine a loco called Queen's Anne's Revenge. Genuinely tempted to draw up the wheel and crossroads and do some mugs with it. I am told by the children the mugs would have to be black if they're pirate mugs though. Yes, Pirates of Caledonian. But yes, so I did very much find this brace. Railway Pirate sounds great model railway challenge team. It does, doesn't it? Darn. I have to change that. And the reason I didn't find it in my quick searching on camera last week is it had slid, it had bounced towards me and was actually sat on the workbench underneath the camera. So as soon as I filmed the review and moved the camera out the way, there it is. Just like I said I would find it straight away. Always happens. So yes, we have that and we need to get that soldered on before we lose it again. In fact, look, I'm going to put it back in here whilst I get everything out to do some soldering. I'll put that in with it. And the wheels. There we go. Now we're not going to lose anything, I hope. soldering block. Oh wait, none of these are attached either. They can go in there as well. This corner. Ow! Just stabbed myself with my pin. I don't advise stabbing yourself with pins. Or anything else for that matter. Let's move this over here so we get the view of the little Gladstone back. But yeah, won't it be nice to have the little Gladstone? I can probably get 12 four-wheelers happily behind that with my plans for it. And have a proper length train. I approve of views of little Gladstones. I thought you might. So the black paint only went on the smoke box whilst we were pre-stream chatting. And the soldering iron is hot. And of course, although the soldering iron is hot and I've got everything ready, I never actually filed it down, did I? Proper length trains are the best sort of trains. This is one reason I like Engage. I mean, I could model now with proper length trains on Oak Hill. Because, you know, that's small. Proper length trains aren't very long anymore. Don't need 12 carriages. Not round here anyway, unless it's the express to London. I think that's even only 8 from Eastbourne. I think it hooks up to more at Haywards Heath. Little Gladstones, but not Alliance. Visible confusion. Good evening, Mystic Southern Railway. I am very well. How are you this evening? I hope you are well. I can do English, me. And there we are, filed to shape. Which side up does it go? That side up. So we want some flux on there. And some flux on there, and to drop the pin in so that we get our fingers covered in flux in a second. That'll be great. We want to get these ready. And now we want to turn the soldering iron all the way down. And there is the bot to remind us all to give that like button a smash or a gentle tap. Don't worry about doing so to the pre-stream chat one, because I'll delete that once I've sorted this one out and put the thumbnail and stuff on it. I'll delete that old one at the same time. Stupid thing. Now, white metal solder. Whilst we wait for the soldering iron to cool down, hydration is important, everyone. Especially when your internet's being rubbish when you're trying to stream. I hope we're not getting any lag anymore and that we've magically fixed it by rebooting our connection to Streamlabs. I'm certainly seeing much less delay on the TV, which is good. That to me is a good sign. It's nearly cooled down. Nearly. Looks and sounds good. Excellent, thank you. So there is our white metal tin. Now my laptop's opening things in front of my stream. That's not helpful. I'd like to be able to see the chat. Gently tapped. Why, thank you, Killian. But remember, everyone did gently tap that like button on the old stream. This one needs one as well. It doesn't carry over. And there we go, the last bit of bracing on the bottleneck. The finger burning, good. No finger burning there. You'd know if I burnt my fingers. This time I'm okay. So, the next thing we need to do is get the strapping on the top. And this is the funny shape stuff, you see. It comes along the side here and round the corner and down the front. Because of the way this brake van is soldered together, it'll genuinely help hold it all in place as well. Looked like a close run thing. I mean, it was, but when I'm only working on 200 degrees, it's not too bad. It takes a while for the heat to get through to my finger. So we're going to move that out of the way. We're going to point the camera down a bit, but we're going to keep little Gladstone. And we're going to get our temporary cutting mat. I should actually get a proper cutting mat at some point as well, shouldn't I? these other fancy tools I've got and I don't have a cutting mat. It's a bit weird. There we go. And there we go. So now we want to sort those out with a file, get them tinned up with solder, get them bent to shape. And get them on the brake van. I don't want to bend that yet, do I? That would be silly. Tin first, bend later. Welcome back, Christopher. I'll tell you what, it's a good job you warned me your YouTube name had changed. I'd never have guessed that that was you. Never. Well, it's got to be this one that's on the top. But yeah, I was just finding suitable figure for the large layout. Ah, excellent. So having built this Gladstone in Engage, it's got a lot more work to do to it. But having done it now, it has reaffirmed my belief that all Engagers are insane. Concerned that you might be confused. Well, of course. There's no way I would have realised that was you with a name like that. You knew who I am. I did indeed. So it was very hard to work it out. And there we go, there's all four of them done. Let's get the soldering gear back in. The iron is heated back up. That one wants to be that way round. That one wants to be that way round. That one wants to be that way round. And this one's already the right way round. Wahey! Now let's clean the pin off because it's covered in flux from me dropping it. Is the Teeny Gladstone motorised? It is not. It will be part of a static display. However, it has been built with the possibility to motorise it in the future should I want to. The driving wheels have gears on them. The chassis is designed to be able to take pickups, but I'm not sure how well it will because the chassis is plastic hard, so I don't know if it would hold up very well to being motorised. Yeah, I want to film the layout around works, Studio Ghibli, and therefore have to have Kiki of Kiki's delivery service flying over. Ah, fair enough. Ah, excellent, so we can try and shunt it about a bit. We can try, yes, maybe. Not right now, though. So I've done it with the idea that it can be motorised, but I won't have anywhere other than the 009 to run it, and I just think it will look a bit stupid on the 009. Well, in fact, I know it will, because I put it on there the other day to see how it looked. I have some very gentle steam engines, class 8620, that can try and push it a little. I will take your word on that. You'll just have to build an Engage layout, Brighton 1880. I was more thinking of a really thin diorama that could be mounted behind something. Like literally even in a picture frame, for example. Well, quite a thick picture frame, but you get what I'm saying. Of the Ouse Valley Viaduct, or part of the Ouse Valley Viaduct in N. Gladstone with 12 four-wheelers on it going over on a London to Brighton service. It'll look fantastic, won't it? The move before there is enough power to light the LED headlight in, and that's quite impressive. That really is a free runner. Right, that is all the brass tinned. Time to turn the soldering iron back down again. And back to the white metal solder. Sure will look amazing, thank you. So this is the Gladstone's first public outing. couple of pictures on Discord of progress as I've been doing it through the week. I'm just gutted it took me so long to work out doing the dome, because I lost 2 days of progress in working that out. Let's face it, that's a lot of progress to lose over a week. It could have got filler and all sorts before being painted, rather than being rushed through the paint shop today so that it could look good for the stream. Because if you have a close look at it, there's some really obvious holes in it. Good evening, Richard. How are you? I hope you are well. And there we go, we've all then folded. The iron has also cooled down to white metal safe levels. Haven't tinned that side. Very well, thank you. How's the stream been so far? We had an interesting start to the stream because my internet was being a bit iffy. But other than that, I like to think it's been good, even if we're at a stage of slow progress. And there we go, that's all that tinned. So now these go on, as I said, they've got the bracing that goes round, and then a leg that sticks down on the end. There we go, there's that on the end. And a bit more of the white metal solder. Just to attach it to the side. Oh, this one does not want to line up properly. It gets hot enough, it melts the solder, but as soon as I take the soldering iron away, it moves slightly. There we go, we are on. So again, just a bit of white metal solder, top and bottom here. Now of course we could, but we're soldering brass to brass using white metal solder here on the sides. We could go in, turn the soldering iron up, they're both tinned, bit of heat, they'll stick. However, we are avoiding doing that. I've bent one of these two wrong. Let's have a look and see if I can work out which one. I think it's this one. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, the reason we don't do that is quite simply because we don't want to heat it up too much and melt the white metal that is right next to it. A little bit of a bulge there in the solder. Just easier to file it down than it is to heat the soldering iron up and cool it back down again. We're having the same problem here. There we go. So, how is everyone doing? Do we have our projects on the go this evening? What are we up to? Please do let me know. I do enjoy hearing about it. And here is our final bit of bracing. Projects, recalibrate this naughty N-gauge turnouts. Oh dear, that's not good. I do not approve of naughty turnouts. What has proved to be naughty with them, James? And there we go. is that soldered. I do believe they were the only bits of strapping it was asking for in this instruction. So that's another instruction done. Adding more people to Happiness Railway and some woodland critters. Excellent, Christopher. Excellent. So let me just read that. Oh, this is now in the way. Put that over there. I think my pen pot's going to be in the way as well. You know we're getting far in the instructions when things start getting in the way. But distressed that I appear to be a DE10 short. Well, that does not sound like a Happiness Railway. If you are a loco short. So fit, draw, that form, locate, casting in place, carefully mark where the projection tab to go, clear away the casting. If location for the top, fit the grab handle. Drill the top of this and fit the grab handle. Bend and fit the corner strap. And ah yes, grab handles. That appears to be what's next. Yes, it appears handrails and such are next. And we've even reached a point in the instructions where it says, for the Midland version, because, yeah, this really does legitimately say you can build the Midland version out of this. So, I'm going to grab my photos again quickly, because whilst these drawings on here do show the handrails, I want a better look at them. And nothing's better than a photo. In the meantime, hydration is important. So we have a handrail. It comes down here, each side, and the same on that side, and another one that comes out of the side of this and across the middle with a bit in there. Still doesn't look right to me. It looks as CR's not that MR enough. Maybe it's the veranda doors that are throwing me off. Maybe. So it does say on this next one, for the Midland van, clear away the two verticals below the waist rail. For the SE&CR version, retain these. So it is quite sure that it can be a Midland van. And there it is, the bot agrees that it's hydration time. Crisis averted, DE10 found. Excellent, glad to hear it. Oh, there's some what appear to be lamp irons there. And brake rigging parts. They look fun. That's the rest of the buffers. These are my bits of wire it provides. And some parts for the compensations. Did the middle ones not have the bars in the veranda end openings too? What did I read? Where did I read? For the Midland van, clear away the two verticals below the waist rail. So no, apparently they did not. Okay, thank you for coming by, J94. Has been good to have you here as always. Sleep well, etc. and I hope to see you again next week. Strange, maybe if I saw one built as the MR1 I'd be able to tell better. Maybe so. Maybe that is it. I can't say I know the Midland version well enough to tell the difference. Now I'm looking at these and just thinking they're not long enough. I might use some of my own. Oh no, they're just about long enough for that, but it doesn't really give me much extra to play with, does it? If two full ones are taken up just by the one handrail on the side, because they really are only just long enough. What will be awkward is the middle bit, because there's no visible join there. It is just a bit poking out and connected as a T. So that's obviously going to have to be soldered. And the same where the vertical meets the uprights, the horizontal meets the uprights here. It is all appears to be welded, so there's no handrail knobs to join, so it'll all have to be soldered. Right then. So let's start with that. This one appears too thick for these holes as they are, so these holes are going to need drilling out. We're going to need to drill some holes into the white metal for its counterparts. Fits through there okay. Come to that, I don't think the middle versions actually ever ended up with two complete verandas, did they? They had an open step at one end. I don't know, but this kit can also be built as the single veranda SE&CR one, so plenty of options. That looks like, let's see if that pops through. It does not, so it's slightly bigger. Do I have a smaller one? Yes. That's actually larger than I thought it was at 0.8. Oh good, the drill bits are stuck. They have heard of gravity, they are not a fan. And I am not a fan of having to open this up. No, smaller still. Right, there's the one we want. So let me just close this back up. wheels turning. No, don't drop all the way in. Right. That should be in tight enough now. Disapprove of struck drill bits? Indeed. Those are teeny drill bits. They are. This is a 0.55 mil. Fits through that hole. Where the 0.6 did not. And now it slides right inside the drill, so that shows how good that was. Let's get an even tighter grip. I don't like doing the grip too tight on these, if I can avoid it. And there we go, that's through. So now, will that drop through? It will, so that is indeed the drill bit that we want. The MR 10-ton 4-wheel and 20-ton 6-wheel brakes only had single verandas, while the 20-ton 4-wheel brake had a double-end veranda. There we go, there is the answer to your question, Linny. So the MR 6-wheel ones were indeed only single veranda. So a lot of drilling there to get through a rather thin bit of material. There we go. And there we go, so that is all of those. The hard thing is watching that drill bit bend as you drill is worrying. Yeah, it's mostly straightens itself out. These are not the best quality drill bits in the world. Also, the double-ended 20-ton 4-wheel brakes were the only ones fitted with duckets and LMS days. The single-end ones remain plain-sided. There we go. More interesting info from Mr. Mole there. Right. Let's get all those holes drilled out on this side, and then we'll do the white metal ones. That goes through that one. Almost goes through that one as well. Learning? No, what you want is Ralph. Exclamation mark Ralph, not exclamation mark learning. Core. Right, so now we just want to put some holes in the sides of the white metal. Yep, these definitely need to go into the white metal. Didn't want to be seen taking the mickey. I'm learning. Of course, the problem here is keeping the drill to stay straight, which I tested there. It's not going to do, so I'm just going to make a little pilot hole by twisting the end of the knife blade on it. That should be deep enough. Yeah. Of course we don't want to go too deep because our material's not very thick. Hey Super Nintendo Charmers, I'm landing. And there is a link to the website popped up from the bot there. The website is of course a great resource for clicking links to ads that get me paid money. Well, you know, they will do eventually when there's enough of them. Good evening, Andy, or good afternoon, I suppose, for you. How are you today? I hope you are well. Yes, mate. Excellent. Yes, as I was saying, clicking those links on my websites apparently gets me paid. I'm up to £1.99 in the bank now, having been approved for ads over a year ago. I can't actually withdraw anything till it reaches £60. But it's nice to know that Google want to give me that £1.99. I mean, I say they want to give it to me. If they wanted to give it to me, they wouldn't make me wait for £60 in there. Do those holes a little bit more. This is one of those times where a handrail bending jig would be really handy, but I do not have any. If I were a rich Gary, exactly, I'd have all the terriers in the world. £60, that's like a terrier and a half. Yeah, got to get there first. At a rate of £1.99 a year. Hydration is important. So we have 2 more holes to drill, then we can start making these handrails. And then we can celebrate having handrails and stuff and things. And then lamp irons. So again, some pilot holes. At that rate, you'll be able to withdraw it as a retirement present. Exactly. But you never know. By the time I can withdraw it, the new terriers will be coming up on the second-hand market, so the old ones I might be able to get 2 of them rather than just 1.5. Remember, if when he says throw enough money at him, he'll build a full-size D1. I did say that. So keep throwing that money. It's a donation link in the description that should now work. For some reason, Streamlabs have decided to shorten it. I believe I specified something like £1 million, or possibly even more than that. I might have said 10 million. But you know, get donating. Maybe cheaper to build a Jenny Lind. Oh, wouldn't that be fantastic? I mean, I've proved I can work in sizes other than 4mm with my tiny little Gladstone. For clarity, for those that heard of what my unconventional methods were earlier, if I build a full-size loco, no, I will not make the dome out of super glue. just in case you're wondering. Bluebell expressed an interest in having a Jenny though. Don't think they turned down a D1 either. They did. I think they spoke about both a D1 and a Jenny before. Their most recent Craven talk was for a tank engine. And it was deemed that they'd rather have the Southeastern and Chatham E-Class, which is obviously what we are getting from them instead. And there we go. That is enough holes drilled, I think. Say, thank God for that, everyone. I know you're thinking it, it's fine. What we need to do now is bend some handrails to shape. Don't tell me you won't go through there now. That's not, there we go. And then now when we cut these ends, we need to just make sure we clean them up a bit so that they still fit through the holes. And not knock them over. This is of course just a trial fitting. There we go, it's in. I'm also going to get some scissors. And slice a strip off the temporary cutting mat, which of course is slightly too thick for what I want. Why wouldn't it be? And by slightly too thick, I mean the strip I cut is slightly too thick, not the cardboard. The cardboard is ideal. Well, you see, the cardboard can go under there and hold the handrails out from the body as we solder them in. So I can hold the handrail nice and tight, the cardboard keeps it exactly the distance away from the body that I want it. And that is sat in some solder right on the edge there, conveniently. So I can turn the soldering iron right up. Stick a small amount of flux on these bits of handrail that are sticking through. Because of course for a change I don't want to tin these first, because then they won't fit through the hole. But then I have a handrail at a nice distance away from the body. And if you've never thought of that method of using a bit of cardboard before, royalty checks can be made out to Gary courtesy Oak Hill Works. Yeah, Gary Lightning Oak, CME, Oak Hill Works. That's where you want to send your checks. Or, alternatively, you can pay your royalty payments online by putting ! donation in the chat. Too cheeky? I don't think so. What's the command to send Gary a kitten? There is not a command to send me a kitten. What you can do is, it's the ! donate, and you donate however much it costs to buy a kitten and all required ancillaries, with the note, this is to buy a kitten. That is how you send Gary a kitten. Am I getting an echo? Is anyone else? We've had some issues tonight. And there is Linny donating. Thank you, Linny. Very much appreciated. $5 will not buy a kitten, James. At least I assume, right? No echo here. And look, there's a link to the Patreon. The bot must have heard what we were talking about. Patreon is, of course, a regular monthly donation. And it really does give the channel financial stability. You know, rescue cats are free. But the food and food bowls and all that other stuff are not free. The peripherals, that's the word I was after, peripherals. This is true, but cats are fluffy. They are. So are other fluffy things. It is an excellent word. It is indeed an excellent word. Let's pull that pin out of here. You see, James, my duster brush is also quite fluffy. I have genuinely known cats less fluffy than my duster brush. I'm going to move that over there before I catch it on the soldering iron. Chinchillas are also fluffy, and their bathing dust makes good N-gauge ballast. They are indeed, and their bathing dust makes good 00 gauge platform surfaces. But they're not as cute as cats, they're much less catty, and they don't purr or mew. You can't have symmetry. But they do stay in all the time and not run away and fight other chinchillas. So, you know, there's that. But if you are a chinchilla, hydration is a bit more iffy. I'm not a chinchilla though, so hydration is important. So now we have two handrails that are not only attached nicely and a decent distance from the body, they are an even distance from the body. See? This method does good. For the handrail in the middle, we can cut it to length. And again, this will work to hold it in the right place as we do so, as we solder it. Now these ones are going to be a bit more iffy to get right because they can't poke through the hole. That worked alright though. So if I cut that to the same length, needs to lose a little bit off the end. Good evening, Simon. How are you? I hope you are well. And there we go, that now sits much nicer. So this one we will have to tin before soldering in place. I'm very excellent, glad to hear it. So there is that tinned. We will drop the temperature down. Well, just popped out and grabbed the mobile to keep watching. The chat was correct. There's about 10-minute lag on audio and video. It had a deja vu moment. Oh wow. That's quite a bit of lag. How much lag, if I put my hand here, and now it appears on the TV. So I'm still getting I'm getting more lag than I'd like, but things at least seem to be running okay, unlike earlier. Stupid internet being stupid. Right, the iron is nearly at temperature now. And there is that handrail now in place. Now, of course, the problem is we need to turn the iron back up to do the brass bit for this side. Is a bit too long as well. Yes, that's sealing quite nicely now. Excellent. I like how things like this make it look like I know what I'm doing. Clean off the tip a bit and run the iron back down. And now we must wait for the iron to cool again. Cunning cardboard trick, thank you James, it is clever, isn't it? Go gadget cardboard. I'm pretty sure I stole the trick from somewhere. I cannot remember where. I would not want to claim ownership of it though. Except for in paying me licence fees, obviously. In that case, I do want to claim ownership of it. I'll say, you know where to make the donations by now. Approve of cunning plans. As long as they are as cunning as a fox that has just been made Professor of Cunning at Oxford University. Send Gary a kitten. Well, as I say, James, those peripherals are expensive. even if a rescue kitten is free. I'll tell you what, that's a big if round here. My ex wanted a dog. We looked at another dog. And we went to the rescue centre to look at dogs. And although she didn't find one she wanted, we did make all the important inquiries. And they wanted £400 for a dog. From the rescue centre. In any event, 3D printed kittens don't need feeding. No, they don't. And you did send me some of those. But they are not as fluffy. I'm back. Hello back. Good to see you. Good to have you back. I am Gary. Good. Yes, quite. They're more compatible with layouts than an actual cat, but not as cute. They are more compatible with, well, I know some people that would disagree they're more compatible with a layout. Are you here, Corbs? Bear seems plenty compatible with a layout. Or did when you had one. Impressive teeny thing soldering, thank you James. Carry a brick. The bot says hydration is important. I say my hydration vessel is empty. Let's finish the handrails on this side before we refill it. We just want this one to run along here. That has of course not put any ink on it whatsoever. There we go. Excellent, and now if I just file that end down so that it's not got, so that it's flat, that's the word I was after, then we shall have a handrail just the right length. I do, however, now need to cut my bit of cardboard. I'm going to pull it that way so that we've still got one bit that is longer, because we want to be able to see this hole So now I can see the hole to line up the handrail where it needs to go. Apply some flux to all the relevant parts, and we'll forget that we had turned down the soldering iron, so we have to wait for that. Corbs has trained his cat to be nice to his layout. I am impressed. His cat certainly used to like watching the trains on the layout. I also can see the hole. I approve of things being in focus, as do I. I also approve of things being in focus. Flux, you can't have too much flux. Indeed you cannot. And there's all the parts tinned. It's on, but it's now a bit too long. I think we must have gained some length when we soldered it. But it is there, and as you can see there is the hole directly underneath it. If I hold it to the side you cannot see the hole. Perfect. Now our bits of cardboard can come out. And you can see our nicely applied handrails. What we are now going to do is tin that part in the middle. Prove nicely applied handrails. Now comes the fiddly one. Indeed. So I think I'm going to hold... Where's it gone? There it is. I'm going to use our bit of excess from this long one. I'm going to not drop it, honest. Feed it in from the... I'm going to put these bits of cardboard under here because it's bending a bit. I had just the right angle there. It keeps moving in the pliers and pointing upwards. And it's on. Go on, give us some focus on the handrail. There we go, you can see it from there, it's on. I'm a bit scared of soldering it on the inside in case I lose it on the outside. It's on and I'm happy it's on. It's very on indeed, very neat, thank you both. Now of course comes the problem, I have to do the handrails on the other side, which means putting this down on its handrails that we've just put on. And I really don't want to have to do that, because I don't have anything soft to put under it. Spot super glue instead, you're probably right, that is probably the way to go for that. We shall do that after we've done this side, and then we can have it upright so the super glue doesn't come out the hole. So I think we're going to run out of this bit of wire this time. And by this time I mean on this handrail we're doing now, not on this side, because that's kind of obvious. Right, it needs a little bit of a file. Four balls blue tack hole. Ah, good idea, Simon. Yes. Good idea. Blue tack to the rescue once again. Have to pull a new part off of there because my usual bit of blue tack that I use that is only lightly attached is currently being used as a casting mould. Cast the whole thing out of super glue. Oh. I'm still impressed that worked at all, James. You're not the only one. I did it and can see the results and I'm impressed it worked. That end needs a bit of a file as well. I also sort of going out, stay safe. Okay, J94, thank you for coming. See you next time, I hope. Right, and now we need some flux in here. And a bit of solder. And there is handrail the first. So now I think we're going to have to move on to one of these other bits. But first, hydration is important and all that. So I guess we'll fill the hydration vessel. Yes, hydration is important. So how are all our projects in the audience coming on? Do tell. And apparently check out my Instagram that I didn't post anything about the stream to today because I'm naughty like that. Luke would not be happy if he was here. Audience project, naughty turnout, correctionality, mostly successful. Excellent. Naughty turnouts now. Nice, good to hear. I like hearing of turnouts no longer being naughty. So what was wrong with them, James? Why were they naughty? What had they done? Don't tell me they were stealing all the apple crumble, because I won't be happy. Working away on some CAD but starting to get tired. Well, yes, I can see why at this point. I proof CAD causing shorts. That's not good. So I do keep dropping off. Not had much sleep last couple of nights. Speak soon. Night. Oh, okay. Good night, Alex. Thank you for coming by. It is great to see you here. I hope you have a more successful sleep. Had to bend rails near the frog to make them less shorty. I approve of less shorty. Getting a second coat of paint on the Craven Saloon next interior. Ah, excellent, Andy. Excellent. I will look forward to seeing some pictures on Discord at some point. Hint, hint. Heads class 50 employers. Yes, yes, fair enough. Oh, I'm gonna have to. No, I'm not gonna have to file it. It will go in. There we go. In. Now we hope it stays there until it's soldered. You approve of less shorty, even on Shorty's birthday, but surely to party like it's your birthday. Oh God. I would love to say that same song didn't go through my head, but it did. The question is, Limmy, were you hearing that actual song, or were you hearing the much superior Thomas the Tank Engine remix? I've never heard this song, I presume because Postmodern Jukebox has never done a cover of it. I would like to say you're not missing much, James, but that would overstate this song. It is not a great song. It is just one I know, mainly because of the Thomas the Tank Engine remix. First one, two guys haven't listened to their work in a while. I tend to listen now more to Robin Adele Anderson's own channel these days. It's by that half-price dollar rapper. It is by that half-price dollar rapper. But as I say, the Thomas the Tank Engine remix is vastly superior to his version. I mean, how could it not be? There we go. That's all right now. Go Tom. No. It is the original lyrics being sung by 50 Cent over the original Thomas the Tank Engine music. Also talking to Thomas, just painting the smoke box door and cab roof. Excellent. It's on YouTube somewhere under the name of Thomas in the Club. The duh as in DA rather than the, because, you know, why speak properly, eh? Get in place, handrail. There we go, the handrail is in place. Now we just need to wait for the soldering iron to cool down again. I'm getting the distinct impression that at some point this week I'm going to have to go and get some etch primer, you know. I almost wish I hadn't used it all up. It's almost there, but before it gets there we might as well hydrate again. Barley coaster. that sentiment, sir. Well, yes, quite. The problem with going and getting etch primer is that we don't have a Halfords in Hicktown. And there we go. One more handrail attached. We're nearly all handrailed out. Oh yes, and whilst we're here, I want every... Gosh, teeny guards will not want for places to grab. No, no they will not. I just want to make sure you're all aware. If you see any adverts on my channel, it's not my fault. I have not enabled advertising. This is the evil empire. I am not happy with it, but there's not a lot I can do about it. We just have to put more effort into getting the channel up to 1,000 subscribers, so that then I can make some money from the adverts going on there, because I will not make anything from any adverts you see. I never turned the soldering iron back up to do that. Didn't think this solder would melt that low. That's interesting to note. Now we can turn the soldering iron back up. Because that is that. We now only have the handrail through the middle to add. So pull that out. And put this one in. And then of course we can see where the hole is. Flux the handrails. I never cut that one to length, did I? Well, it's now got solder on its over length end. Isn't that helpful? And the solder pretty much ends where we want to cut it. I mean, it's not quite, but it's close. There we go. That's better. Let's re-tin and put some, let's reflux and put some more solder on there. There we go. Refluxed and re-tinned. And there we have the handrail going across. And there is the donation link from the bot. This time not as well timed as the Patreon link was though. That is a lot of handrail-y, isn't it? It'll make more sense as the amount of handrails once it's got footboards and stuff on. We still have those to do. Amazingly, I don't see them actually. Oh no, there they are. Bend up. Oh yeah, well, that we do have etched ones to attach. So they come right at the end. I hadn't even noticed they were on the etch. I thought they were something we were going to have to make ourselves. And there is that tinned. I can peel all these off now. Especially this one that seems to have heated up a bit. There it is. I knew I'd put it somewhere. Let's make sure it goes through the hole. It does. And it's on. You can just about see it sticking through the side there. It is on. That is us all hand-railed up. I'm rather impressed with that. So, now is that, let me read the next instructions. Time to add the buffers and lamp irons. Very nice. Thank you, Andy. So yes, it's time to actually add the buffers now. So we want to drop the temperature of the iron back down because of course the buffers are white metal. Once I've got the wheels painted, will be really the wheel fittings, so the W irons painted so they can be attached, will be very breakdown-y. You know something's going well when it's time to add the buffers. Now, yeah, the long side, these are an odd shape. They've got an egg-shaped back to them. Now, I know that was in focus a second ago. Yes, they've got an egg-shaped back with the long side sticking outwards. There we go, I think you can see that. Very strange shape, if you ask me. But there we go, so we've got to make sure we get all these in the right way round. Yay, now I have hydration and cake. I approve of hydration and cake. What time will you be delivering? And there we have our first permanently attached buffer. About 1:30 in the morning, okay? Yeah, that's fine. Not a problem at all. Awesome. Should give you time to get. It should give you time to get home in time for work as well. That. I want cake or crumble. Why not both? Really has excellent taste. Yeah. Well, yeah. Can't complain at cake or crumble, really, can you? I certainly wouldn't. That buffer had some spikes sticking out of it. Nice thick custard too. Oh yes, definitely. Definitely. Forget that, if there are model shenanigans to be had. Model rail shenanigans are the best shenanigans. Because we are train pirates. Are. And there we go. Buffers are attached. Imagine that train pirates be GWR people from Penzance. I certainly think that's a possibility. It is unfortunate, but it is a possibility. Right, so those lamp irons. Oh, they've got different numbers. I'll have to check them to see which is which. I don't want to be putting them in the wrong place now. See if we can see them anywhere on there. No, we can't. And I'm pretty sure there's not enough. Interesting. The brake van has 6 lamp irons on it. I only have etches for 4. What is it, Ice Pirates? Oh, rats with pies. We check these other etches and see if there aren't more. I do not see any more lamp irons. That's rather irritating. New York City Subway pizza rats are kind of pie. Oh. Yeah. Because there should be lamp irons on each of these uprights and also on the sides here. But this does not have enough lamp iron etches for that. In fact, there should be 8, not 6, because there's 2 on the ends. Oh, we've missed a bit of bracing off. That's what that is. There should be a bit of bracing at the bottom here. I bet there's another one at the top as well. No, there's not another one at the top. Interesting. we've missed a bit of bracing. We best put that on. There it is, 25 ICU. When a rat steals your... Oh, she's a pepperoni. That's a way. Brilliant. 25 I said, didn't I? Yes. There we go. Just feeding some turtles down the sewer. That's some power. That was a show that was weirdly censored in the UK. Apparently the word ninja is bad, so they had to be hero turtles, not ninja turtles. I wish I was making that up, I really do. I'm not, but I wish I was. Teenage Mutant Shunter Turtles, heroes in a half cab. Brilliant. That's better. I mean, that's now too much, but it's better than the none you were melting a second ago. Maybe they were thinking about the meaning of ninja rather than the modern usage. Well, I expect so. I've still always thought, of all the things to be censored, it's always seemed a weird one. Indeed they were, but still. To censor the word but not the show seems to show they know that it's not about that. No, that didn't stick. Didn't think so. you know what we're going to do? We're going to give it a polish. Must be out for dinner. Great stream, Gary Knight. Oh, okay, thank you for coming, Andy. Enjoy your dinner. And I shall speak to you soon. As I look forward to seeing some pictures of that Craven Saloon on Discord. Good evening, Thomas. How are you? I hope you are well. Well, that's no good. That flipped over and now the solder's facing up. I'm alright, you know how it is. How are you, sir? I am good, thanks. So, you know how I've been soldering white metal? Helps if I turn the soldering iron back up. Hydration is super important. That is completely stuck now, straight away. Yeah, of course it is. That's never moving again. Well, we're going to polish up this side anyway and pretend that was a step we definitely needed to do, because and that's why it wasn't sticking. Oh no, it's not on anymore. Alright, I'm going to apply a bit of flux. Nothing wrong with a good polish, indeed. this is not easy to get in place. Now we'll let that cool down and hope that it's stuck. No, it hasn't. Didn't think it had, hence why I said hope. This side's still on. It's just this one that's come off. Is there no such thing as non-heat transfer tweezers? Yes, these are no heat transfer. These are ceramic, so that the heat does not transfer through these. So I can hold them on the end of the soldering iron for as long as I want. And I can pull things off the soldering iron with them. Who thought they were posh tweezers? Yeah, they are, aren't they? No heat, nothing, and that soldering iron is very hot right now. 480 Celsius. That's 896 Fahrenheit for those that work in Fahrenheit. Right, those are both on again now. So, what comes... Oh yeah, the lamp irons. That's what we were supposed to be doing. But there's not enough. I'm going to come back to the lamp irons. I'm going to mark them on the instructions as in I need to come back to these. Love how Fahrenheit makes heat seem so much worse than it is. I mean, 480 Celsius isn't hot, isn't cold. Follows what it is, adding up corner strap in, T-straps are only, add body counter tablet rats if required. I do not believe so. So those bits of strapping that we'd missed, yeah, they were the next instruction. It's good, isn't it? Let's mark that instruction done as well. Bend up, and we are on the final instruction with half an hour left to go of this stream. Bend up the running boards. First, clear away for the centre axle box to the witness edge under the board when building a six-wheeler. Fit support wires to the narrow slots. Bend up the wires. Fit the holes in the soul bar. You may find it easier to do the other way around, making the last join under the board. For the four-wheeler, use the troops and mods attached to the soul bar. Fit the upper steps to the underside of the soul bar. So it really is now just attaching the running boards. So one of the instructions, put on one set of wheels, then a set of axle boxes, and just leave the last one off, you know, for fun. No. Unfortunately not. We have a fully compensated underframe that needs wiring attaching to hold it all in place. But before it can be finally put in, I think I've got that the wrong way round, it is handed. Before it goes in properly, the units that hold the wheels in place need painting. So I can't attach them properly yet. But they will just be held in by a bit of wire going all the way through. Well, it goes from here to inside the centre wheels. So that'll mean the centre wheel set can move side to side slightly for tight corners, and the end wheel set can rock for poorly laid track. Because why not? So yeah, we have the running boards. And then she is constructed. One running board. Seems like a lot of faff to me. Just lay your track properly. I have never built a compensated wagon before, so doing this on stream with the compensation has been interesting. And things like P4 require it. So make sure you have some poorly laid track to take advantage of that feature. I do not plan on having poorly laid track to take advantage of that feature, actually, now that you mention it. But the P4 guy at club, who also happens to be an SE&CR modeler and sold me this kit, did want me to do it with compensation when he found out I was doing it, so I thought I'd best. There we go, they're nice and flat. Need a bit of filing to clear away the excess off the sprue. Slap some Hornby track together, not putting tracking fish plates properly, preferably a bunch of quarter straight so you get full rocking action. I mean, for that I'd have to own Hornby track, but I said I'm not having bad track. It is possible to lay track too well to be prototypical though. I expect not on lines like the Brighton. I don't know, I'm not sure the Brighton's permanent way practices were the best. I mean, they did use shingle for ballast, and I can't see shingle making good ballast, what with it being all smooth. But I intend smooth ballast equals 7 oaks. Exactly, James. Didn't make up their curves from straight rails, so they're better than some. Well, not that I'm aware of, they didn't. Not going to say I wouldn't put it past them though. Right. Those are obviously the bits where the hangers come down later, but first we need to get it to shape. I can see this being really fun to bend all the way along. Like most companies did FlexiTrack before FlexiTrack was a thing. I mean, if they did it before it was a thing, then it wasn't before it was a thing, was it? I think it's just a case of rails are surprisingly flexible. In 1-to-1 scale. There we go. Well, there you go, great show as always, night everyone. Okay, good night Simon, thank you for coming, very much appreciate having you here. Sleep well. I meant FlexiTrack in model form. Well, they did it all before anything was available in model form. How else would curved track be laid? Indeed. Art imitates life, and like I always thought the rails were made pre-bent. Imagine transporting pre-bent rails. Imagine that as a load. Like this got bent on site with Jim Crow, yes. So just imagine trying to transport them. It would be an interesting task, about as interesting as this. Jim, did he consent to that? Probably not. Well, I always don't want to stay open anymore. I'll be off. Been great night. Okay, good night, Padawan. Thank you for coming. Great to have you here as always, and I shall see you on the Discords. Sleep well. There we go. It's bent to shape. Or folded, I think is the correct term. That was not fun. Now I've got another one to do. This one's going much easier. He needs a mini bending jig. Any bending jig would be good. Oh, that one's not. There we go. Well, hey. That is those bent. And they sit slightly out there. Right then, so now we need to make hangers for them, I assume. Bend the running boards. First, clear away from the centre out spots to the witness edge under the board when building six wheeler. Fit support wires to the narrow slots. Bend up wires to fit holes in the sole bar. You may find it easier to do the other way around. Last join under the board. Four-wheeler use strips in the wider slot and attach slot. Right. Okay. I was wondering why there was wider and smaller ones. Now I understand. Are those the holes in the sole bar? They look like they are. Laying cars with the fish belly round must have been a laugh and a half. Yeah, definitely. I imagine running things over them must have been just as fun. So we're actually going to switch up to my thicker rail now, wire now, because I'm not convinced that the tiny little bit wherever I put it that's left is enough, because that is all I've got left from the kit's wire. Do you ever make inquiries about scale link incidentally? I have not as yet. It is on the to-do. So there are holes here that are fully soldered up from behind, helpfully, for this wire to go through and then come down onto the bottom of the here. Drills in very short lengths, it was indeed. Hello Z Fantasy Trains, welcome. You join us 10 minutes before the end of a stream where we have very nearly finished putting the details on a brake van. Wasn't Fishbury generally laid on stone box sleepers? They don't strictly have to be in line with the other rail if you're laying a curve. True enough, I suppose. No poly curves. Yes. Where's it? There it is. This one can go away now. Okay, maybe it was this one I had in there before. Better late than never, indeed. Indeed. It is good to have you here regardless of the time of arrival. That has not gone in there straight. We are not all the way through, it just seemed like it. This does not even want to pretend it's going through. That's rather awkward of it. Let's get it attached to the bottom of these. See how it lines up, because I don't think it's going to line up quite as well as one would hope around all the fittings. And then we can see about maybe just soldering it to the back of the solver. Not about that much, I do believe. Yes. And if we do it that long, that's plenty of slack. So it turns out there's bend that's been done the wrong way round. Oh, it's always possible with me. I'm pretty sure there hasn't, but it's certainly always possible. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4 per piece. That's not far enough in, you need to go far enough in. That one's way too long, never mind. Too long is better than too short because we can cut it down. Right, that's... Ow, that's in my thumb, that's what that is. I was saying that's one side done. Right, there's a master for the second side for us to measure off. Maybe don't put things in your... Yeah. It's less painful if you don't put the things in your thumb. There we go, that is those cut. So now they get soldered onto the bottom of here. We obviously make sure they're not stupidly big or anything first. I actually want to be holding this with these. Now if I put that there, and stick a bit of blue tack there. Then for some reason the solder won't want to melt, of course. And yes, the iron is hot enough this time. I can see why you wouldn't trust that statement though, so I won't hold it against you. There's obviously just too much brass there for it to melt all the way. Right, that needs to lose a fair chunk of its length. That's better. Flux before iron. That moment when the blue tack melts into the brass does some weird chemical magic. Now that I don't think is going to happen. How could I forget about that trick? If at first the solder won't melt, add more solder. It's almost like solder is a social animal. Sees the other melted solder, it's like, oh, you're melted, I'd best melt as well. For those of you that know how this works and why, please don't spoil it for me. Brass tack available at dodgy discount pound shots and more flux. Flux. Again, thank you, Christopher. But you can't have too much flux. Right, we are gonna. It is just approaching midnight, so we are going to finish soldering this. We technically started a bit late, so I might solder the legs on the other ones as well, just so that they're done. See, look, I've got it down to 1/2 now. It would seem a shame not to do it, wouldn't it? All the legs indeed, Thomas. Your leg up on the next stream. So for next time, I will need to see about lamp irons. I'm sure I've got some etched ones elsewhere that I can use to make up for the deficiency in this kit. Attach the footboards to the brake. And then we'll have to paint it. Flux before iron. So we are indeed very nearly at the end of this brake van's build. I even already have all the transfers for it. Remember to keep your paint pots safe. It's alright, I've got plenty of blue tack to hold them down with. There won't be any more spillages, he says. Hopefully. So, the last leg with Adam Hills and Alex Brooker and Josh Widdicombe on Channel 4. I have not watched it in years, but I remember it exists. And there we go. So yes, as the bot has just said, do remember to smash that like button, because right now we are done. We have a much more complete looking brake van. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to put these back in here to hold this out where it goes on both sides. And with that held out straight, I can dab some super glue on the inside, just a tiny bit each side, to hold those in place, and that will keep them out. Now we can put the roof on. We can lean the footboard against it, and it looks like you'd never know it's not finished. Isn't it wonderful? Let's cut all that rubbish out the back. We don't need to see all that. There we go. I approve of done. Thank you, James. Great stream, Gary. Looking really good. Excited to see finish soon. Thank you, Linny. Very brake van-y. 6-wheel brake vans are the best sort of brake van. Thank you, James. I do like a good 6-wheel brake van. I'm not going to lie. Well done, sir. Thank you, Christopher. Even better than an 8-wheel one, James. Yeah, I think so. Nice job. Thank you, Z. Going to have to look into this brake van at some point. I rather like the look of it. It's a Southeastern and Chatham one. It's a D&S Models kit, so it's not easy to get hold of, but it is a very nice brake van. So it's Southeastern and Chatham. Drawings are available. It's certainly wonderful. Thank you, Harry. So yes, thank you for joining me, everyone. Do remember to smash the like button if you haven't already. It really does go a long way to helping the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join me for some more videos. And if you do subscribe, ring the notification bell so you get alerted when I go live or upload a video. It happens occasionally. Harry right at the end, but hello, sir. Indeed, right at the end, but he is here. So yes, thank you. All that is left to say is this has been Let's Build. I've been Gary. You have been absolutely awesome. Thank you and good night.